the story of a submarine.
U.S. Navy nuclear ballistic missile submarine.
Nuclear submarine.
Nuclear-powered attack submarines.
In the dark, unforgiving waters of the Pacific, the Buckley-class escort destroyers emerged as a sinister and deficient force for the U.S. Navy. Though modest in size and armament compared to their monstrous battleship brethren, these leviathans of the deep excelled in their relentless pursuit of their prey, enemy submarines. The USS England, a vessel baptized in the fires of conflict, earned a fearsome reputation as a ruthless submarine hunter. Equipped with a deadly 24-barrel Hedgehog mortar, a gift from the UK, it was an instrument of destruction, cleaving through the ocean's depths to strike terror into the hearts of its foes. The USS England embarked on a merciless, blood-soaked crusade in a harrowing theater, teeming with Japanese vessels. In a flash, its reign of terror carved an indelible mark on the annals of naval history, forging a legacy as chilling as the icy waters it once patrolled. Now, the ghost of the USS England still lurks beneath the waves, a haunting reminder of the savage and unforgiving nature of war. Even after nearly 8 decades, the ship's cold, merciless efficiency casts a dark shadow on the horrors beneath the surface. Born from the ashes of tragedy, the USS England emerged from the San Francisco shipyard of Bethlehem Shipbuilding Corporation, a vessel baptized in the memory of a fallen hero, sponsored by Mrs. H.B. England, the grieving mother of Ensign John C. England, who met his untimely demise on the USS Oklahoma during the attack on Pearl Harbor. The ship carried the burden of vengeance. Unleashed upon the unforgiving waters of the Pacific on December 10th of 1943, the USS England was a dark harbinger of doom. Powered by 2 sinister Foster Wheeler Express D water tube boilers, 2 GE 13,500 horsepower steam turbines, and 2 12,000 horsepower generators. The Buckley-class destroyer escorts, built for the merciless purpose of anti-submarine warfare and convoy escort missions, had an insatiable hunger for fuel, with a maximum oil capacity exceeding 350 metric tons. A behemoth of steel and fury, measuring 306 feet in length, 36 feet in beam, and 11 feet in draft, the fully loaded Buckley-class destroyer escort had a displacement of 1,740 tons. The USS England's armament consisted of a Mark 10 Hedgehog anti-submarine mortar, a triple bank of 21-inch torpedoes, 8 side-throwing K-gun depth charge projectors, and 2 stern depth charge racks, all instruments of death and destruction. The British 24-barrel Hedgehog mortar, a gift from a nation that shared the common enemy, would launch its lethal payload into an elliptical pattern up to 300 yards ahead of the ship. As Samuel J. Cox, Director of Naval History and Heritage Command, chillingly explains, the projectiles would fire in a sequence so that they would all impact the waters at the same time. The Hedgehog projectiles, equipped with contact fuses, detonated upon impact with their unfortunate targets, leaving no time for enemy submarines to detect or evade the impending doom. In a mere 3 minutes, the USS England could recover and prepare to unleash its fury once more. The USS England was a vessel forged in the fires of sorrow, its purpose clear: to hunt down and eradicate those who dared to challenge the might of the U.S. Navy. A dark and relentless force, the ship's merciless legacy still echoes through the depths, a chilling reminder again of the horrors of war. The USS England reached Espiritu Santo in Sanma Province, Vanuatu, on March 12th of 1944, after stopping at Pearl Harbor, Funafuti, and Guadalcanal. Throughout April, the ship performed escort missions to these locations, as well as the Marshall Islands. No Japanese ships or submarines were encountered during these duties, leaving the crew eager for some thrilling action. On May 13th of 1944, the Fleet Radio Unit Pacific successfully intercepted and decoded a transmission from the Japanese Navy's IGN submarine I-16. Unaware of its impending doom, the I-16 sent its final message from Truk, informing Imperial Army personnel at Buin on Bougainville Island that a rice shipment would arrive in the Solomon Islands around 10 p.m. on May 22nd. Commander Hamilton Hines of Tulagi's Escort Division 39 immediately ordered the formation of a hunter-killer task force, consisting of 3 vessels to eliminate the submarine before it could reach its destination. On May 18th, the USS England from Escort Division 40 and the USS Raby and USS George from Escort Division 39 were deployed to intercept the enemy vessel, setting the stage for the USS England's legendary pursuit. Lieutenant Commander Walton B. Pendleton and Commander Haynes, the officer in tactical command aboard the USS George, set out from Purvis Bay on May 18th of 1944. Later that day, he learned that the Japanese had established a line of 7 submarines between New Guinea and the Caroline Islands in the Central Pacific, aiming to lure the United States into a decisive confrontation as part of Operation Ago. The U.S. Navy intercepted the Japanese 6th Fleet's radio transmissions and relayed them to Joint Intelligence Center's Pacific Oceans Area Estimate Section. Meanwhile, the USS England and its accompanying destroyers actively hunted for their quarry. At 1:35 p.m. on May 19th, they located the submarine north of Bougainville, using sonar sweeps after Allied aircraft had spotted the I-16 surfacing. The England swiftly launched 2 separate Hedgehog attacks. The I-16 managed to evade the first 2 assaults, but the third strike found its target. The experienced Japanese crew narrowly avoided a 4th Hedgehog attack, but when they attempted to dodge a 5th, it was too late. A massive underwater explosion resulted in 5 direct hits around 2:35 p.m. As detailed in a 1980 article in Proceedings magazine, the USS England's executive officer, Captain John Williamson, recounted that the ship's fantail was hoisted a full 6 inches before dropping heavily back into the water. The Japanese submarine had made its final transmission. The crew was too stunned by the last explosion to continue cheering. Approximately half an hour later, they collected themselves as floating debris began to surface. There was no time to mourn the loss of the I-16 and her crew, as the submarines of Operation Ago still required attention after departing Saipan. On the evening of May 22nd, the escort fleet's trio of destroyers spotted the RO-106 submarine. The USS George managed to locate the enemy vessel on the surface and illuminated it with her searchlight. Caught off guard by radar system issues, the RO-106 narrowly avoided the Hedgehog's fire by the USS England and the Raby. It took 3 U.S. Navy ships over 20 minutes to relocate the enemy submarine using radar. This time, the Japanese attempted a counterattack, aiming their torpedoes directly at the USS England. However, the England was faster, and it landed 3 hits in the enemy submarine before it could close the distance. The RO-106 ultimately plunged into the depths with all 49 crew members. On May 23rd, the USS England captured the RO-104 submarine. Positioned approximately 250 nautical miles northwest of Caerphilly, New Ireland, the submarine was discovered and radar contact was established between the USS Raby and the RO-104 around 6 a.m. The RO-104 was swiftly driven out to sea, and the 3 Buckley-class destroyers engaged into the Japanese vessel in a deadly game of cat and mouse. Unfortunately, the USS England and its companions annihilated the submarine with a series of Hedgehog attacks. Despite evading more than 5 assaults and disrupting sonar signals with expertly timed and tuned sound impulses, the RO-104 could not escape its fate. 2 hours after the USS England's second Hedgehog attack released 12 projectiles onto the target, a massive underwater explosion signaled the end of the RO-104 and her 58 crew members. Thus began the USS England's unparalleled streak of victories. Soon after sinking the RO-116 on May 24th, the USS Raby established radar contact with the RO-108, commanded by Lieutenant Kanichi Obari. The trio of Buckley-class destroyers rapidly approached Seidler Harbor near Manus Island. The submarine, manned by a seasoned crew, was on its 5th patrol. Like the vessels before it, the RO-108 dove upon sighting the destroyers and initiated evasive maneuvers. Although the USS Raby nearly achieved a direct hit, the USS England's Hedgehog launch was impeccable, resulting in 6 successful strikes in the enemy submarine. The underwater explosion and subsequent debris confirmed the sinking of the RO-108, the USS England's 4th Japanese submarine, and the loss of all 53 crew members. Following their relentless campaign, the England and her sister ships rested and replenished supplies at a friendly port for nearly 4 days. The task force swiftly consumed and resumed their hunt in the Pacific on May 30th of 1944. On the evening of May 31st, the 3 Buckley-class destroyers, among a group of ex-destroyers, detected the RO-105 on the radar. They pursued their target until the early morning hours, eventually cornering the RO-105 with 0 escape routes remaining. Several destroyers came close to sinking the enemy vessel, but ultimately failed. Eager to maintain their winning streak, the USS England's crew awaited their turn. After a while, Commander Haynes said, "Ah, hell. Go ahead, England." And the pursuit continued. Minutes later, the RO-105 was destroyed, taking all hands down with it. The USS England was awarded 10 battle stars for her service in the Pacific before being sunk in an air attack in Okinawa in May 1945. The assault claimed the lives of over 37 crew members and inflicted considerable damage on the ship. Scheduled for destruction after the war ended in 1946, the USS England's unprecedented achievement of sinking 6 submarines in 12 days remains the longest such streak in naval history. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch our video. Be sure to click like and subscribe buttons to, access more military content and historical content, because we love that stuff, right? I mean, you clicked on the video in the first place. Don't forget to subscribe and enable notifications to stay informed about the latest videos. See you later. Hopefully.